Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far as roster trials are coming to a close. Neptune's time in the CDL seems to be coming to an end again for the second time within just a couple of months, and he doesn't seem particularly happy about how he's been treated internally. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new as always, I'll greatly appreciate it. Really upset the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing that one. This is just some crazy footage from a local LAN. You guys know how it is at Call of Duty at this point. This did want to mention though, because yesterday, the CDL did this CDL Resurgence, whatever it was called, the Warzone thing. There were plenty of other better things to watch, to be perfectly honest. But, you know, it was good, honestly, to see this and rated. Like, he was obviously having a pretty frustrating time on the Los Angeles Thieves team, I believe he was on. Like, you know, just rolling back the years a little bit for rated getting annoyed about something. Back in his professional player days, of course, he's been out of the league for a couple of years now on London Royal Ravens. I think he tried to make a return, actually, as well. But he was a great player in his day, no doubt. But I'm not really sure if you guys watched any of the Warzone stuff. I think maybe he had, like, 15k viewers or something at peak. Like, you know, it really just goes to show to me that, like, Warzone is not the way to go here in, like, competitive Call of Duty. Just something like the fans in general aren't particularly interested. Not really sure if this brought anyone new into the scene, to be honest. Like, who's watching this? Like, if you're a fan of Biffle or like some of these other players, you might have watched this tournament, even though you can't really stream it on Twitch because of the YouTube partnership with the CDL. Like, are those people really going to get involved in actually watching competitive COD as a result of this? Especially when, like, a load of the CDL pros themselves aren't even playing in this. You don't even get to see playtime and, like, follow your favorite pros from this tournament into the rest of the league. So, it doesn't really make any sense to me. Some teams made the grand finals, and it was actually Los Angeles Guerrillas who maintained their winning streak here. Fair play. Of course, an entirely different squad. Happy for aBeZy though, of course, two-time world champion in competitive Call of Duty. Since then has moved to content, doing a lot of Warzone stuff. And yeah, so cool to see aBeZy getting the W here. They get over line and well, aBeZy does. $100,000 CDL rebirth champions. Like, I don't really know how it's CDL, but it is what it is. Like, you know, let's go. First big win on Warzone. So cool stuff, to be honest. And yeah, Los Angeles Guerrillas managed to stay on top after winning the Stage 2 major. They win this as well, of course, with an entirely different team. So, like, you know, how does it really matter at the end of the day? It's just strange to me. Not really sure what you guys thought of it, to be honest. Like, these were the final results. Thought this was pretty funny from crowd, actually. Did you even watch this, right? So, definitely a strange one. Like, this is a pretty inflammatory statement here from CDL Scrim Intel, but I think it kind of sums up what a lot of the community think about this. SnoreZone I thought was pretty good. Like, I'm not particularly interested in watching this. I would have watched it if it was all the pro teams, to be honest. Just the way this was executed just leaves plenty to be desired, to be honest. I think, well, hopefully the CDL sees this and realizes this isn't the way to go. Like, we don't need a month off to do, like, this kind of Warzone tournament with these, you know, with these influencers effectively, or like a Warzone pros. They can't even stream it on Twitch because of the partnership thing going on. I don't really see how it's bringing in any new fans. Like, it just doesn't really seem to appeal to the core competitive Call of Duty audience. Would have been much better just to do another major cycle, to be honest, in my opinion at least. And that's the thing. Ake said this back on the end of March when they announced this stuff, that they were going to do this. The transition has begun over to the Warzone side. Like, that's kind of been the fear of some of the pro players. That's the way they'll decide to go. I can't imagine that's the case anymore though, because to me, like, it just seems like Warzone, like, they maybe failed to capitalize on the hype when it was really on the uptick, and now it's kind of in a, you know, SnoreZone has been certainly talked about, not just on Twitter, but Reddit and all over the shop the last few days or so, and I can certainly understand why tuning into that tournament for maybe like 5 or so minutes last night before I went back to watching the Valorant, which was definitely the better decision. I was even watching the World Snooker Championship last night as opposed to catching the end of this tournament, which, you know, also definitely the way to go. So let's talk about this then. New York subliners, we've got Neptune. The situation has been kind of, well, obscure the last few days. What's going on with this roster? How long has this team been trialing with these players for? Are they going to switch anything else up? Because it seems like the Minnesota Rokkr may have decided the direction they want to go, bringing Havoc into the team, but what they do with the rest of the squad is very much up in the air. Now, PaulX tweets this out last night, ranked before scrims, since deleted. Like, I'm on top of my game here. I see tweets like this. I get it in the Discord so I can save it when they go on to delete this. So, unlucky Paul, you've been monumentally outplayed. And again, ranked before scrims, he says. So yes, basically saying yes, he's still scrimming in the team. Seems like PaulX, probably Crimsix, Hydra are going to stay as a 3. Kismet is the one to be rumoured over there. We were wondering if Neptune's going to go, are they going to do anything else with the roster, or can Neptune stay and like someone else is going to go for the team, all this type of stuff. This also just from whatever it takes. So Neptune effectively plays this tournament last night with a new roster, with them, well, I'll share the clip for you guys here in a second, but this is what was tweeted out since been deleted. Basically, yeah, they do this graphic of a roster, maybe he's going to this team wit or whatever it exactly turns out to be, and well, this is apparently the squad he's playing with. Neptune has joined ProLoot, Bracken 2 Real in place of Johnny. So Johnny's been dropped from the team, Neptune is in, and this isn't just subbing in for Changer's team just for here and there, a couple of tournaments, this type of stuff. This is because it seems he's been dropped from the starting team. I'll share the clip very briefly of you know, when this was kind of spotted on stream last night.
Defense coming through here on P5. Three Kings got here first, and they're dealing with whatever it takes in kind.
Yeah, Neptune's RC got dropped. I mean, I thought I was like information that we already knew. to trade blows. If Three Kings can get this last
And then NYSL 2000 about how that was Trust. We're watching the Challengers Cup, or not a Challengers Cup. It's basically essentially that's what it is.
We're going to take down 2 real. Wiz is going to be the one to at least clean that up.
Now, Neptune himself has also had a few words to say on this, right? Firstly, the whole Clayster discussion. There has been some talk right now. Okay, what's going on with Clay? Seems like a return to the subliners seems rather unlikely. Crim is probably going to stay for now with Hydra, this type of stuff. We did wonder whether that could be the case over at Minnesota Rokkr, though. My understanding is that probably what they might have been trying out over there is actually like a Priestahh staying in the team on the flex role, having a go and Standy on the SMGs, making the team far quicker than it currently is. MajorManiak might step away. And that's the thing right now, just with the way this game has played out so far, feels very difficult for Clayster to find a spot anywhere, because most of the kind of slower traditional main assault rifles have very much struggled, right? The only player that's kind of, stepped out of that mold, maybe I guess, is Slasher. Like, Octane's been struggling. A lot of players in Clayster's position have had a tough time, and Slasher only really improved, you could argue, probably because just some more playtime, getting a bit more comfortable, but also with Sparts coming in, bit more aggression, bit more pace, allows Slasher to play at a faster pace, and really the only kind of traditional slower AR that's done very well this year is Methods, and even I'm sure he would argue he's not actually that slow at the end of the day. And Clayster also in his career has generally been a relatively fast player, but something that didn't really seem to work out on the subliners. Seems to be a pretty tough time for him to make it work on the Minnesota Rokkr, whatever the arrangements might be over there. But yeah, for now, seems like Clayster is not in the discussion, but Neptune certainly had a few thoughts on this, right? So seemingly, Hydra, Porlex, Crimsix, and Kismet. Now, Neptune got dropped right at the start of the year, when it was the Crimsix, Clayster, of course, on the team, Hydra, and Neptune roster that they thought would be so good at the start of the season. It was only basically 1 weekend to the season. After 1 weekend of actual matches, they dropped Neptune from the team, brought in Royalty, and of course we all knew at the time that was never going to work for a long-term solution, because I'm pretty sure Crim and Clay were just thinking, okay, it can't be us that's the problem, so let's just get rid of Neptune. Turns out it was one of them that's the problem. One of them had to go, ended up being Clayster at the end of the day, and there was all the drama about that. So now minus Neptune plus Kismet is happening. I do feel bad for Neptune, right? They bring it back into the team. He looks better when Porlex was there, dropping better numbers. The engagements, though, was kind of the big discussion. We'll discuss that in a second, because Neptune certainly has a response to it, but now Kismet's coming in as well, so getting dropped from the league twice in like the space of 2 months effectively. He got dropped in February, now he's been dropped in April from the same team again. Does just make you question some of the management decisions on this team, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, and the Kismet replacement as well is interesting. It's always tough to read into this in a way, because Kismet's been a solid player. I think that Neptune's skill ceiling is probably higher than Kismet's, but Kismet's been around a few years. I think Enigma 6 back in Black Ops 4, and also at Paris Legion at the start of Modern Warfare as well, when he's kind of been in and around the Pro League. But also maybe this game just suits him particularly well, right, and doesn't really suit Neptune. That's just how things go sometimes. So yes, the skill ceiling might not be quite there with Kismet as is for Neptune, but he might just be a straight up better player in this title, right? It's kind of tough to say. I'm sure they've maybe figured that out over the last few days in scrims. But Neptune isn't happy really with how he's been treated here. He has a few words actually for maybe Crimsix and the rest of the players on his team, effectively saying, look, people talk about my engagements that are particularly low. I could get higher engagements effectively if I was allowed to, if that was the role I was put in with the team. That's the type of player I generally am. But then he talks about a player on this team going for high engagements, which more than likely is a Crimsix type figure, because Crim, we kind of know, does go very aggressive on that kind of assault rifle role, and maybe as a result of Crim being aggressive, Neptune's had to slow down, which is then affecting his confidence, his stats, all this type of stuff, and leads to him getting dropped. This is what he has to say.
Yo, just know, bro, whenever I got my trial, I cooked up, bro, just know that. But I only got, I only got 1 day of trials. What's your opinion, or anybody say you have low engagements? I mean, I think it's all situational. I think I can max out my engagements if I want to. I don't think that's yeah, bro. I'm just scared to shoot people. What, bro? Crim had more engagements than you? I mean, yeah, but that's because I don't even know, bro. I don't know if I want to sit here and just break it down, but bro, if your teammate is playing to have max engagements, why would I I don't know. To me, I look at the game kind of in a more smarter way, in a lot of situations, rotating like that. When I play I used to not be. I used to love hitting ult. I used to love playing, for quote unquote engagements, whatever that means.
Some interesting words from Neptune. We saw not too long ago, actually, when he got dropped for the first time, that he was talking about Crim and Clay and the fact that he'd kind of been forced into this role where he was just playing for hill time and this type of stuff. And it seemed like initially when Porlex came through, Neptune played way better, especially online. But then they go to the major and get top 12. At the end of the day, they did lose to FaZe, got 3-0'd, I think, by FaZe. Then they got reverse swept by Los Angeles Thieves. Both, obviously FaZe a very good team. Los Angeles Thieves, not a great team, but I suppose decent, lower half of decent, I suppose, right now, you could argue. But top 12 is top 12 at the end of the day. When if you come top 12, you've got to consider some changes. Lots of people did wonder, would they trade out Neptune for someone else at some point? They seem to have done that once again. Like, look, it seems like the fault to me lies on pretty much both parties. Neptune doesn't seem to be like a perfect, phenomenal player in this title by any means, like he was maybe last year towards the end of Black Ops Cold War, but also probably, you know, Crimsix and the management over at Subliners have to take some responsibility here for maybe putting Neptune in uncomfortable positions, and also, you know, the fact you've been dropped twice in 2 months doesn't really paint the greatest picture, so definitely intrigued to your perspective on this one in the comment section below. Of course, what the remaining team turns out to be, I guess we shall find out. Paul X tweets this out, feel great today, Lossful, the classic one here from Formal, but yeah, we believe Paul X, Hydra, Crimsix, plus Kismet might be the squad of 4. Is Kismet a similar kind of, you know, fill the gap type player as Royalty was initially? Maybe, maybe not, but you know, if they've done trials and they feel like this is going to take their team in the right direction, then I guess they can feel free to do so, and well, we'll see if it actually works out for them, right? Because in terms of CDL standings right now, they are second bottom to the Paris Legion. We'll talk about Paris later on today. Just did want to mention this because I did talk about this briefly towards the end of yesterday's video, but if you guys are kind of unfamiliar with the idea here, and I didn't actually bring up the dates here and the times on the left-hand side, but the plan indeed is, this is for the Pro-Am Classic starting on May the 5th, that there will be 4 games going on simultaneously on, well, at least through the group stages of the games. So on Thursday and Friday, there's 4 games going on at once. So it's actually really cool, to be honest. This is CWL style, like, and I wonder if they're kind of preparing here for what they might want to do for, let's say, expansion comes through, because right now with only 12 teams, they have it so that there's only 1 game going on at once, right, all the time. However, in future years, if they want to go to 16 teams, like if you want to go to 16 teams and still do the kind of, you know, the matches and the regular league play stuff that we do right now, and also the majors, like, there just isn't really that much time, right? And like, there's a load of more games you need with 16 teams as opposed to just 12 we have right now. So they are going to have to, at some point, do Alpha Bravo streams, which is seemingly something they wanted to avoid just because, you know, each team paid the same amount of money. In theory, like, you have to do Alpha Bravo, like, that was kind of the CWL type stuff maybe they didn't want to do just because they all paid the same amount of money in theory. But this, of course, with amateur teams there as well, doesn't really seem to matter. But there's going to be 4 streams, I imagine, simultaneously through the evenings, which is really cool. And hopefully if Esports Engine and the guys execute this well, they're thinking, okay, yeah, we can do exactly this next season, for example. Like, let's say a major's going on, we've now got 16 teams, hopefully expansion comes through, then we can get into a position where, okay, there's 2 games going on at once, Alpha stream, Bravo stream, just like good times, and you can watch both at once if there's a particularly boring game on. But very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hitting the like button tells your YouTube God this is a good video, and just like you should see it as well, and I grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you as always, take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.